Hello everyone, this is Rafa Islam and welcome to my presentation. I am an international student from Bangladesh studying at the University of New Mexico. This is a video proposal for our third project. We all are going through a very challenging time during this pandemic. However, have you by any chance thought of the worries of international students due to the pandemic? What kind of challenges or problems they're facing right now, or how crucial those problems actually are, and what are the solutions to these problems. In this presentation, let's look at how coronavirus has affected the lives of millions of international students and their future in the United States. Before going into the details of the problem, let me give you an idea of why international students are important to US economy. As you can see, there were approximately 1.1 million international students in US in 2018, which made up 5.5% of total US student body. About 62% students of those 1.1 million pay for their own tuition, housing, and everything else. This is how international students contribute to the education export sector of US economy. They contributed about $41 billion in the year of 2018 to 2019. So what's the problem that I'm talking about? Turns out there's not one problem, but a bunch of them. Despite the contribution that international students make to the US economy, they were not offered strategic support when the pandemic started. They're still dealing with visa, immigration, enrollment, housing, working, and mental health issues. Let's start with the problems that currently enrolled students are facing. The US visa for international students is called F1 visa, which restricts us to take more than one online class in one semester. On July 6th, US Immigration and Customs Enforcement announced that international students must take classes in person to stay in the country legally this fall, which means students studying at the schools that will hold online only courses, such as Harvard University this fall, might have to leave the country or transfer to a different school. Students were forced to find a place to stay after the school suddenly closed the dorms when the pandemic started. And students whose visa statuses are set to expire, they cannot travel outside of USA due to the uncertainty of visa renewal. For your reference, here are two news headlines that were published on July 6th. Incoming students are also facing a big problem. In March 2020, the US Department of State suspended visa processing service, so a lot of international incoming students for fall 20 could not even apply for visa. Hence, they will not be able to start their programs from this fall. They were suggested to defer their program start date or cancel their enrollment. Current graduates are probably one of the worst sufferers of the situation. International students can stay in the USA 60 days after their graduation. They cannot work or attend classes during this 60 days period. What they can do is apply for OPT or optional practical training, which would allow them to remain temporarily in the USA after graduating as long as they're employed in a field related to their studies. They can try getting into another program or look for a job using this OPT. But Trump administration is considering to place a temporary restrictions on OPT. The reason is they are expecting an economic hunt down due to the pandemic. So they're trying to make it less competitive for US citizens by restricting the number of international students in the country. This is a challenging time, so all the problems might not have perfect solutions. However, by taking some steps, US government can help ameliorate the current state of international students. One of the best solutions would be to permit the international students to take more than one online class by changing the F1 visa status. Current international students can also be given an assurance that even if their visa expires, they can apply for an extension. The F1 visa status restricts us from working off campus jobs. To work legally, the only option that we have is on campus jobs. But when the pandemic started, a lot of students lost their on campus jobs. These students can be offered to continue their work remotely or they can be offered some other online positions. Incoming students who didn't get visa, a special kind of visa can be processed that will allow them to take classes remotely from their home countries. The OPT restriction should be cancelled and the duration could be extended to 3 to 4 months to give them some time to settle down. Here's a different opinion. I agree with the new immigration and customs law because US already have a lot of international students. If few of them leave, it won't be a problem for us. Like I mentioned before, one of the major income sources of United States comes from international tuition. But the tendency of choosing US schools is already declining for 3 consecutive years for the strict immigration and visa policy. 23% of billion-dollar startup companies in the United States were founded or co-founded by an international student. 62 world leaders have received higher education in the US, which is more than any other country. All of this prove how important international students are for the United States. It also proves that we deserve to get way more help and support from the US administration. We don't only contribute to the US monetarily, but also to maintain its global competitiveness. Well, why do I care? Being an international student myself, I'm also facing some of these crucial decisions that US government made. According to the latest immigration law from July 6th, I won't be able to take more than one online class in the fall. My school, University of New Mexico, is planning for a hybrid semester, which means some classes will be offered online while some others will be offered in person. What will happen to me if all the classes I need to take are offered online only? Will I have to leave the country without finishing my degree? Or will I have to transfer to somewhere else? Who knows? This is why I'm hoping international students get some more support and help from the government. I will finish my presentation here. Thanks to everyone for your time.